All right, everyone, it's your boy Fernie here back with another new news of the day, this time for June 21st. So, once again, I'm showcasing some random articles that I find online through the Google News website, and I'll get my own thoughts and opinions on them. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's start the first one here. As always, I'd love to hear what your own thoughts and opinions are as well. All right, let me go ahead and I'll share this screen. This is a interesting article for those of you that fly airplanes, like in other words, travel by airplane on a consistent basis. There we go. All right, so this one is from themirror.com and it says TSA abruptly bans 7 popular travel items. I fly very rarely. So, those of you that fly a lot more, this will be interesting for yourselves. And then anyone that even flies less, this will be still interesting information. So, it says the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, has listed a number of items that are banned or restricted for passengers planning to travel this year. So, let's see what it says. Number one is loose lithium batteries. Spare lithium batteries, which are commonly used for cameras, drones, or some rechargeable power banks, cannot be packed in checked luggage. They're only permitted in carry on luggage and must be stored safely to prevent short circuiting. Okay. So it looks like if you have spare lithium batteries, or if a power bank is using a lithium battery, then yeah, that's where. So there's a little bit of a no-no unless you have it within checked luggage. Next one is an obvious one: replica weapons and toy guns. TSA has strict rules about traveling with anything that resembles a weapon. Even toy guns and prop weapons are banned from carry-on luggage. I thought this was like a given, whether it's carry-on or whether it's checked bags. Like, don't even dare do something like that. But it looks like TSA is reminding everyone to do so. Look at this one: alcohol over 140 proof. It's common for travelers to pick up mini bottles of alcohol in the airport or beforehand and carry them in their hand luggage. However, any alcohol over 140 proof is completely banned from both carry-on and checked luggage. I don't drink, so this doesn't come into play for me, but airports definitely do have bars there. So this will be impacting anyone that is doing what this paragraph says, where they pick up mini bottles. Here's another one involving batteries: smart luggage with non-removable batteries. What is a smart luggage? Technology is taking over every aspect of modern life, even luggage. However, smart luggage is banned by TSA if it does not have removable batteries. Smart luggage generally has features that let you charge your devices, track your bag's location, lock it with your fingerprint, weigh it automatically, and more. Wow, who knew that there was luggage that did this kind of stuff? I've always had just, traditional, regular airplane luggage. Who knew that this is a new set of technology? So if you have one of those, then you have to be careful. It has to have removable batteries. Wrapped gifts. Oh, okay, this is interesting. If you're planning to bring gifts to your destination, do not wrap them. TSA has warned that they reserve the right to unwrap presents if the contents need further screening. This is one of those things where you wouldn't think about it much beforehand. Maybe you are traveling somewhere, it's for a wedding, you already have the gifts wrapped. Well, it looks like you don't want that to happen. It makes sense too. Is to make sure what is in the actual box itself, like whatever is contained inside the gift. Certain foods. The rules that apply to liquids can also apply to food items. TSA treats many food products like liquids, especially spreadable foods, like peanut butter, hummus, and dips. Anything over 3.4 ounces is not allowed in carry on luggage. I don't bring food onto the airport or really buy any like to take onto the airplane. It's a stretch, but on the rare case where something is going to take a while for me to get on an airplane, then I'll just eat the food there rather than take it on the airplane. So that wouldn't really impact me. But those of you out there, and there are, every now and then you can smell on the plane when someone is unwrapping some type of food, then that aroma spreads throughout the entire airplane. Then take a little bit closer look. Next one involves razor blades. Oh, looks like okay, there we go. Uh, the website kind of stalled a little bit. Razor blades. This one is an obvious one too. Last month, TSA issued a specific statement about razors. They wrote in an X post that disposable razors and cartridges are permitted in carry-on bags. However, loose blades and straight razors can only be placed in checked bags. Okay, yeah. That's an obvious one again. Makes sense. Oh, and then that's it. So those are the 7 items that are very important to notate. TSA is abruptly banning them. So make sure if you're going to get on a flight soon that you are in compliance. All right, let's go to the next one here. This one also has to do with traveling. The title caught my eye. This is from travelofpath.com. It says, why I no longer use hotel booking platforms and what I use instead. So let's see what it says. Let's be real for a moment. Planning a trip should be exciting, but finding the right hotel can quickly turn that excitement into a headache. You'll say, I'll just find a quick, cheap room. 3 hours later, you're 57 tabs deep, and you've completely forgotten your own name. All right. So it says, I stumbled upon a new method, a secret weapon that has completely changed the game for me. I waved goodbye to big booking platforms like Booking and Expedia. So here's the secret. I let a friendly AI do all of the initial legwork. Oh, so it looks like this is about AI. Man, not much to talk about here then. I definitely showcase on mine. I just go straight to the hotels, like the actual hotel website or the hotel app. You always get the best pricing there. And on top of that, when you book it directly from the company's website or app, that, at least in my experience, tends to make sure that nothing gets canceled because it is right there. You literally booked it from their own company. Now, who knows? Maybe some of you out there have done the same and you also faced cancellations. Let me know in the comments. I thought it was going to be something along those lines rather than just somebody showcasing what they're using when it comes to AI. So not much again to talk about there. All right, let's share the next one here. This one has to do with food. All right, sometime it's coming up. There we go. All right, so this one is a list. These are the absolute best burgers in every U.S. state. So let's see. Let's see if your state is listed as well. Man, website is going slow. Alabama, Travis, Chicago style. a big burger. I'm just gonna breeze through these because this is 50 that they're presumably listing. So I want to make sure that that's not gonna take too long. And the website's taking forever. Alaska. This is Pucker Wilson's. All right. Oh wow, this webpage is horrible. Arizona is the Diablo Burger. Why would it be called the Diablo Burger? Does it have a lot of heat to it? Arkansas is the Ohio Club. Looks like that's some classic onion rings. Might have to stop this website because it's taking forever. California looks like it has 4505 burgers and barbecue. That's out of all the pictures presented, it looks like that's the smallest one yet. Yeah, this is taking way too long. Let me go ahead. I'll stop this one just because it's gonna keep glitching and take forever. But you get the idea. It's from tastingtable.com. And again, it showcases from each state what is presumably the best burger that's there. All right, let's go now to the next article. This one is from the world of movies. A recently released movie, no less. This is from CBS12.com. It says 28 years later, horror sequel delivers zombie thrills with a powerful story. From what I've been reading so far, this is a movie that is getting opposing thoughts. Some people are saying it's really good, and the same amount of people are saying it's really bad. Seems weird. I've seen the first one, 28 Days Later, and then I've seen the second one. What was that one called? 28 Weeks Later? Both. The first one was really good. The second one was not as good, but it wasn't bad. It had some weird moments in there. This one, obviously, is the third one, 28 years later. But it says here, director Danny Boyle is back with a third installment. It's a case of art imitating life. Those are all the stars there. We've been through a couple of extremely traumatic public crises, one medical one political. The amazing thing about horror films is that you can put transparencies of dramatic public events like that in front of or behind a horror film. So it's like it is chronicling real life events within the film itself, or a loose interpretation of real life events. And 28 years later, we catch up with the characters almost 3 decades after the rage virus escaped a biological weapons laboratory. That movie did really well, by the way, when it came to showcasing a new type of zombie, something that was just utterly uncontrollable, just running very quickly. No pausing, nothing. Like, this was absolutely a unique take on the zombie world. What else here? With humanity's future at stake, Como also shared how she felt scared while filming scenes. You're kind of hysterical, running through barren landscapes in Northumberland, sometimes drone shots as well, so you don't actually have a lot of camera crew around you. How about that? There was no CGI, there's no green screen, so that was a gift for us. Okay. Are y'all going to go see this movie 28 years later? It looks like it's doing so-so when it comes to the box office as well. There's been a I'll talk about it in the next video, but there's been a report showcasing what it's making over the weekends. All right, next one is Las Vegas. This is from casino.org. It says Vegas myths rebusted. Golden Gate is the oldest Vegas casino. I brought this one up because on a previous tour I did a couple of years back, it was a walking tour there in downtown Las Vegas. I remember the tour guide stating that yes, Golden Gate is the oldest one there. But here it says it's a myth, that it's busted, rebusted no less. So let's see. John F. Miller paid a whopping $17.50 for the first 3 parcels sold by the railroad so he could build a hotel at 1 Fremont Street. That's a picture of the hotel. How neat is that? That's there to this day. This front area that you see here, including this elongated window that this woman is at. You can apparently even rent the rooms that are there. They're still there to this very day. Obviously, they've been remodeled, but the same dimensions are there. You can rent it. How cool is that? And apparently, it's pretty haunted too. That's what the tour guide was mentioning. Miller built the Miller Hotel so quickly because it was basically an overblown tent. It had canvas walls and cots per bed. Hotel also featured the very first telephone in Vegas. Phone's number was 1. That's interesting. The rooms cost $1 a night to rent, and it featured electricity, a lamp, running water, and steam radiators. That must have been amazing for anyone back then. So imagine for everyone here in this picture, Las Vegas heat, even back then, 1905, or it says here 1906. Can you imagine like just being able to go into that nice hotel and then enjoy some running water, some electricity, and so on? When did the Hotel Nevada open a casino? So it looks like here Miller's Hotel included 1 roulette wheel and a poker table, and he called that its casino. So that's all it took. Just 1 table, 1 wheel. But I remember, where did I see this? Was it? Yeah, I think it's at the Zach Baggins Haunted Museum. If my memory serves correctly, they have it there. No, that's from a different story. They have a table, a poker table there, and they have some type of roulette wheel. I remember seeing it there, but there's another story with it. So I'm mixing things up on there. My bad. About 1909, a statewide gambling ban took effect. So it says here, if Miller indeed kept his legal casino open during this long stretch until gambling was legalized in 1931, he certainly wasn't going to leave any public records of it. So it's a gray area. As it says here, what happened after is a matter of historical debate. So this is another dated picture from 1955. Interesting. And there's the area, there's the window over there from the other picture. Whether Miller kept his teeny casino going during the gambling ban ends up not being germane to resolving which Las Vegas casino is the oldest, however. And that's because in 1934, Miller decided to close it without explanation, and gambling wouldn't return until 21 years later. Golden Gate Casino, which opened on the hotel's ground floor in 1955, taking its name from the San Francisco Bridge, wasn't owned by Miller or his son Abe. Looks like it was a separate entity. So if you take out that piece of the puzzle, then yes, that makes, as it says here, the El Cortez the oldest casino in Las Vegas by 14 years. It opened in November 7th, 1941, and it's been there ever since. So it looks like this Vegas myth all depends on whether you count those missing years where where that casino had 1 roulette table, 1 poker table, and that counted it as a casino. You have to take that into consideration. And the other thing is then when casinos were banned, if it continued operations, was it like on the back end secretly? Was it truly then a casino at that point? It's up for debate, but at least on the tour guide, the tour that I took, they stated that this was the oldest casino that was there in Las Vegas. All right, let's go to the next one. Once again, here in the world of Las Vegas, but also business. This is from seattletimes.com. It says how Las Vegas casinos are working to attract millennials and Generation Z. This is important because there is a shift happening in the world of Las Vegas. People from past generations are getting smaller and smaller in numbers. So Las Vegas definitely has to find their new audience. Says their grandparents lined up for buffets. Their parents came for Celine Dion, but millennials and Generation Z are coming to Las Vegas for something else. Let's see what it says. Nearly half of the city's visitors last year were either millennials or Generation Z. Wow, that's huge. I didn't know it was that big in terms of a percentage. These are people in their 30s and 40s, and most of Gen Z is voting age. Realization is prompting casinos across Las Vegas to carefully consider how they attract and retain consumers who may be less interested in jackpots and more driven by experiences. That's true. One big difference between older generations and newer ones is the attraction to slot machines. Massive nightclubs, energetic pool parties, DJs, celebrity chef restaurants, bars and lounges, and so on. Look more like video games than gambling devices have become more commonplace. Well rounded experiences. These events make a big difference in making us more relevant online. Include a bit of everything that the city has to offer. I agree, that's true. That's how newer generations are going to be attracted to Las Vegas. It's not just the gambling, it has to be the shows, it has to be the food, it has to be the tours, everything that's there, the spending. So, less on gambling. Millennials spent an average of $768 gambling, $637 on food, $63 on shows, $47 sightseeing. Generation Z spent less, $575. Wow. $541 on eating, $94 on concerts, and $62 sightseeing. So less in the casinos, less on eating, but more on entertainment and more on sightseeing. Comparatively, Generation X spent more on gambling, less on shows and sightseeing than either of the two. They also spent less per night for hotel stays than millennials or Generation Z. That's surprising. I didn't realize that Generation Z and millennials are more prone to spending higher amounts at hotels. I thought it was almost universal amongst the younger crowds of, hey, as long as it's a hotel and it's decent and it's close by to everything and it's got a cheap price, sure. I didn't realize that they were looking more for the more expensive ones. That's my attitude, at least. Give me a nice hotel somewhere nearby, and it allows me to stay, sleep well, but then get up and then enjoy the day. That's what appeals to me the most, as long as it's also cheaper. Let's see what else. Millennial and Generation Z gamblers are also drawn to digital options, online casino gaming. I don't really do that, so no. Newer slot machines, which closely resemble a computer game, have forced him to look at the situation differently. He said younger gamblers are spending more time and more money on these sleek looking machines with fancy graphics and interactive components. I see those there. The only thing is they're more expensive. I don't do those. I stay with the older ones, the older slots that are less expensive and they're more fun. They definitely make the dollar stretch more. Rise of gaming influencers. Ding, ding, ding. That is huge. A lot more slot channels on YouTube. I don't know about Instagram and TikTok since I don't really do that stuff, but definitely YouTube has them. Interesting stuff. Some surprising bit of facts. Now let's go to the last one here. This is involving Nintendo. I keep sharing articles regarding the new Switch 2. So here's another one. This is from Investopedia.com. It says, here's what reviewers are saying about Nintendo's new Switch 2 console. A gaming purchase you will not regret. But is it enough innovation? Let me stop this commercial. All right. Between the size and sharper resolution, the Switch 2 is just much more pleasant to view. Even the generic menu looks cleaner. And then with the dock capable of 4K, the Switch 2 looked great on my TV. All right. Here's another one from ARS Technica. Unit feels a bit more substantial in the hand than the original Switch, but still a good deal less bulky than portable PCs like the Steam Deck. All right. Eurogamo wrote, it's a lovely thing in the hands, larger, and it feels slightly sleeker than the Switch. Looks like it has a glossy screen. New York Times says the redesigned controllers show the potential for better reliability. It says we'll have to test them long term to determine that. Another one, Tom's Guide. They praise the controllers, display performance, and games. Now, where's the people saying that things are bad? Okay, here we go. Still, some reviewers seem to have hope for more. Instead of bringing the forefront of what can be done to your living room and on the go, this feels like Nintendo playing a long overdue game of catch-up. In the context of gaming as a whole, if a big old 2 slapped on the box rather than the framing of a mid-cycle upgrade, as well as a substantial price increase, it's just not doing very much that truly wows me. I was kind of saying that the other day. Like, it looks the same to me, both on the design and the play. What I've seen online from newer videos popping up. Maybe it looks slightly better when it comes to the games. Maybe it runs a little faster. But it's not the advancement that normally Nintendo does when they go from, let's say, the NES to the SNES to the N64. What else? To the Wii and so on. Like, it's usually a big leap. This one, though, seems more like just a updated version, kind of like a smartphone would be a year later from its current version. But we shall see. How much does it cost anyway? Second generation Switch, which sells for $450. Wow. Now, what is that going to make on the pricing for the regular Switch? That's interesting. That's what I want to know. I've long stayed out of the console wars, just because, again, it just updates and updates and updates. But who knows, if the Switch 1 becomes cheap enough, maybe that might be a chance to finally jump in. You know, there's bound to be people out there that are going to be selling theirs for a really, really cheap price, something along those lines. But that's pretty much it. If anyone else has any more interesting comments, go ahead and post it below. All right, everyone. Thanks again as always. See y'all next time. Take care.